How do you make a 4-inch repeat fit into a 54-inch border? The struggle is real, but I found a way to do it. Come join me. Hey guys, welcome back to Frances Quilts. Well, last week, if you remember, we quilted this inside border right here. And each one of those little sections of petals was quilted into a 90-degree angle triangle that I had marked on the quilt beforehand. These triangles needed 4 inches of border space to make them. The problem was the quilt was 54 inches. Now, how do you fit a 4-inch border into a 54-inch quilt? Like I said, the struggle is definitely real. But what I used was a tool that's designed for long armers. Now, I don't have a long arm, but I decided to use it on my quilt here, and it worked wonderfully. It's called long arm centering tape, and it looks like this. It's long, 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 very long. But in the middle, it has a centering point right here. And then it has 1 inch on each side, and 2 inches on each side, and 3 and 4 and 5 all the way out. So let's go to the quilt and let me show you how I used it. Okay, I'm getting ready to use this tool. I will tell you that I've already done 3 borders and I've learned a lot. So I'm going to teach you on this 4th one because I think it'll be easier for you to see and to learn. What I'm going to do is come to the center of my quilt, which is approximately right here. And I'm going to place this logo in the center there. Now, originally I was pinning it in place, but I realized if I just taped it in place, it'd probably be a whole lot easier. So I'm going to take a little bit of painter's tape and just tape it down so now it's not going anywhere. All right, I have taped down my ruler here on the center of my quilt, which is right here, and I'm coming out to here, and I know that there's 27 inches out to here. So I can put a little mark there because I know I want one of them to go there. I also know that when I do a right angle here, that this area right here is about 4 inches. I've done some measuring on that, and just that seems to be what it works out as. So what I'm going to do is I can divide this by 4 if I want to. 4 and 8 and 12, and let's come on down, and 16 and 20 and 24, but we know that it doesn't work out exactly right. So I have a couple of choices of things I can do. I can either make all of these smaller so that I have one more down here, or I can make them all a little bit bigger. I think a little bit smaller because 3 inches is a large distance to make up between here and here. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to make these just a little bit smaller. Each one of them just a little bit smaller than what it was before. Remember, you just have to make them go a little bit incrementally there. Okay, so let's see how this does for us. All right, bring that over just a little bit. Again, I'm not doing a whole lot of calculations here. I'm just kind of eyeballing it to see how it looks. So I'm going to have right here, 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 and here, right? Again, I know that when I do a right angle in this, it ends up about 4 inches from here to here, as I said. I also have just laid down a piece of tape that will give me a guideline to use as I'm doing this. So if I come in here to this center one, and let's just put it on that point, and let's kind of get 4 inches. This border obviously is a little bit smaller right here. So I have that. Now I'm going to come to here. Here's the next point right here. And let's see if I put that right there and that right there. I can kind of finagle it in there and give myself that border piece right there. And then same thing, I'm going to kind of come in here. This one, I see it needs to come out just a little bit more. So I'm just going to kind of make it work, okay? I'm not worried if all of these are exactly the same. You are not going to see that they are not all the same. So come from here to here. And then my last one's just going to be approximately 2 inches from that side to that side, and I don't really care. I just want it to be kind of straight along there. So let's come back over here. Same thing here. Doing a little eyeballing, but not nearly as much as I'd be doing if I hadn't already put some basic measurements down. And there will be one then right here as well. And as I am doing this with this ruler, I'm thinking to myself, why is it easier than just counting out however many spaces you need it to be? And I think the reason is this gives you a little bit of a visualization. So you're not drawing on here and then getting there and going, oh crap, that's not right. So then you have to take them all off and start over again. It gives me a chance to see how it's going to look before I ever do any sewing or any marking or anything like that. So 20, get this in 24. I have the same thing over here. From the center to here is 27 inches. So that means I need to bring all of these over just a little bit. So that I have from here to here is almost 4 inches. It's not quite, but it's almost. So this just gives me a chance to visualize just a little bit and see where these are going to go. So now I've got it down here. I'm going to mark these points for myself. I've got that one on the end, so I can get rid of this. I'm going to take my ruler, and honestly, I found it easier just to start in the middle. I was trying to start on one end or the other. I think it's easier to start in the middle because it gives you a little more room to do your fudging if you need to. Did I say fudging? I don't ever fudge. Here, back up to there. That couldn't be more perfect. Let's keep coming down. So it's all marked now and ready for me to start the quilting. So there you have it. That is how I was able to use a long arm tool to very quickly and easily split those borders up into the correct amount of units, and more importantly, the correct size of units. There are lots of other ways that you can measure a border like this, but this is one of the easiest ones I found. As I said, I think part of the reason is because it is just visual. I can see it. If something doesn't look right, if it looks a little too far away or too close, I can very carefully move it, and it just seemed to me like it worked perfectly. And I think if you look at these borders, you'll agree that they turned out well too. If you have other tips about how to measure these borders and work out what I did using something different, I would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and let me know what you do, and I'd love to give it a try as well. Well, that's it for today. Next week when you come back, we are going to finish quilting these outside borders, and we're going to get this quilt all finished up. Thank you so much for joining me, and as always, I look forward to seeing you next time on Frances Quilts. Remember, if you like what you've seen, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please check out my website and daily blog at francesquilts.com, and I can be found on Facebook and Instagram at Frances Quilts. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon.